How's it going, everyone? It's K-Lumity here, and today I'm pretty excited to talk about the game we're going to be talking about today because I have quite the history with this game. I have easily put over 1,000 hours into this game with all the different playthroughs I've done throughout all of my time playing it. This game is Fallout 3. In my opinion, the best of the Fallout franchise. Now, I still love New Vegas, and we will talk about New Vegas eventually on this channel because that is another game that I absolutely love. But Fallout 3 is my favorite. I absolutely love Fallout 3 because I love the environment, I love the world, I love the story, and I love the characters. Everything about Fallout 3, for me, is amazing. Except for the bugs. It is a Bethesda game, so yes, there's a lot of bugs. But we'll get into that here in a minute. Fallout 3 is an absolutely amazing open world game. It's so good. And it still, I think, holds up pretty well. Yes, it's dated. Yes, its graphics are definitely dated. And even its combat mechanics, honestly, are dated. The gunplay, it definitely is a bit rough around the edges. A lot of people who have not played this game before, if they pick this up and they play it, especially after playing newer games, I can definitely see some of them being turned off by the gunplay. But if you're able to get past that, you have an amazing open world here that is super immersive. This game is one of the most immersive games I think that has ever released. The actual conversations that you have with the characters is so detailed and so interesting that I hardly ever skip dialogue in this game. Even through all the playthroughs I've done, I still hardly ever skip the dialogue. I want to see what the characters are saying. I want to read through it. And you get to respond to each of these characters. And the best thing about you responding to these characters is that your character doesn't have any voice acting. So it's like you can actually insert yourself into the shoes of that character, and it's you talking to the NPC. And I appreciate that so much. That seems like such a small thing, but it is such a big thing when it comes to video game immersion, and we don't see that a lot anymore. Even the new Fallout 4, your main character, the character that you play as, has voice acting. And it just takes the immersion out so much. It just makes it feel like you're not that character. Even the full story of Fallout 4 makes it feel like you're not really that character. It feels like you're watching someone else's story. Fallout 3, it feels like that is your story. It feels like you are put in this setting, and this is your character. This is you. And I love everything about Fallout 3's story. It's so good. It's one of the best written stories in video game history. And honestly, when you think about it, it's just a simple story about a kid who leaves the vault. He's in a vault after a nuclear apocalypse. He leaves the vault because his dad left before him, and he's trying to track down his dad. It's that simple. You can run it down to literally just that. You can summarize it just by saying that. But it's so well done. And there's so much around you that happens in this story. So many different twists and turns. It's just one of the best written stories in video games history, in my opinion. Especially because of the fact that it's not just about you trying to find your dad. It's also about you trying to better the world after it's already been destroyed. It's kind of about still having hope, even though the world seems hopeless. You know, this is after a nuclear apocalypse. This game is set in a absolutely destroyed Washington, D.C., after a nuclear apocalypse, after China and the United States got into a nuclear war. The water is completely irradiated. Everything around you is destroyed. There's mutants running around. There's all sorts of different mutations that your character can get going through the story. If you do certain quests, you'll get certain mutations, which I like that quite a bit because they're pretty much always helpful. I don't think that there's a negative one that I can think of off the top of my head. But there's all sorts of different things that you can just get to immerse yourself even more in this world. But the water is completely irradiated, so that becomes a part of the story, because your dad left the vault to try and fix the water supply. He's trying to basically make it so Washington, D.C. can finally have clean water. So you leave after him, and you kind of step into your father's place, and you start trying to complete his mission as well. It just becomes a really good story. It just is a fantastic just character-driven story with really likable characters throughout the entire thing. And I really enjoyed playing through this game again for the I don't know how manyth time. But yeah, this game is fantastic. Immersion-wise, it's great. Story-wise, it's great. Graphically, it's but I don't think that's a big deal. To me, it's one of those things that even though the graphics aren't amazing by today's standards, it still holds up pretty well in terms of, yeah, you may look at it, you may see something that looks funny, but you're still it's not going to bother you enough to put down the game and walk away. It's just more of like, it doesn't look great, and then you forget about it 5 seconds later because there's so much else going on and so much else to look at. So to me, it's not a very big deal. And then you have all the DLC. The DLC for this game is amazing, and I will talk about that in its own video later on, and I'll go through each one of the DLCs and talk about them in detail. But if you want to know my opinion on the DLC, you should play it. The DLC is amazing. Point Lookout's my favorite out of all the DLC, but all of them are really fun. All of them are really good, and they add quite a bit to Fallout 3. This world is awesome. Fallout 3's Washington, D.C. setting is absolutely awesome. When you finish the campaign, you're not done. Well, you're done if you don't have the update. Because this game actually used to end, but later on they fixed it so you could keep playing after the story ended, which is good. But back in the day, if you didn't have an internet connection and you were playing this game, and you finished the main story, it just ended. So you could not go back and finish all the extra side missions and stuff. They updated it later on, they fixed it. Even for offline players, when back in the day, we didn't have an internet connection, so we actually had to pick up the DLC Broken Steel. So when we picked that up, it actually let us continue the story, which was good, because then we could finish all the unfinished side quests that we never got to do. And so these days, after you beat the game, you're not done. You still have a lot more to explore. You can still go around and do all the side quests. And there's a ton of side quests because so many characters in this game. There's so many different towns in this game. There's so many different characters to talk to in those towns. And each one has their own problems, their own issues. And you're the guy to solve them and you're the guy to sort them out. And you can do multiple routes with all of these missions for the most part. The majority of these missions, you have a choice to do something either good, bad, or neutral. And this will affect your karma meter. You have a karma rating in this game, and depending on whether you do something good, you'll get good karma. You do something evil, well, you're getting bad karma. And it really pushes this to the forefront of this game. It was really heavily shown in this game, unlike its, unlike the sequels that came out after it. And I wish that they would have kept more focus on the karma system, because I really like the karma system, actually. It just helps in the whole roleplay aspect. It just helps make you feel like you were part of this world and your decisions actually mattered. But yeah, I mean, right away, when you first get out of the vault, very first thing that this game throws at you is a huge moral decision of whether to disarm a atom bomb in the center of this town and basically protect the citizens, or set it off and completely destroy the town. That's the very first decision that it gives you right outside the vault. So it throws you into it right away. It gets off to a quick start. But yeah, it's just, I love the karma system, and it's something that I hope they bring back in later editions of Fallout. But yeah, overall, Fallout 3 is an amazing game. I absolutely love it. I love everything about it. Playing through it again, there's still things that pop up that I didn't even know about, or I completely forgot about. And seeing it again is just absolutely awesome. And I'm glad to be able to play it and just enjoy it again. There's a lot of good things about Fallout. There's also a lot of bad issues that the game has, like, bugs, just random bugs they're not usually game breaking. There are some times where it does, I gotta be honest. There's some quests that will break or something like that. I've had the game crash on me once through my entire new playthrough of about 20 hours so far. It's only crashed on me once, but still, I want to put it out there that yes, I did have an issue with it crashing on me once. But usually the bugs are just lighthearted stuff that's just really silly. Like, I put one up on the channel of a little short of a super mutant, me just shooting him once with a sniper rifle, and for some reason he just flew up into the air like 20 feet. It was just like, okay, I don't know why I did that, but hey, you know what? It doesn't ruin the experience for me. In fact, it enhances it. I like seeing those funny little moments like that. This game is flawed, but even though it's flawed, it's still an amazing game, because usually the flaws aren't anything super crazy. Yes, if you have a quest glitch that breaks a quest, that sucks. I get that. I've had that back in the day. Most of those seem like they're fixed now. I didn't really have any problem with that, really, in this playthrough. I had one quest that kind of bugged out a little bit, but all I had to do was load an autosave, and it just went right back to being fixed again, so that wasn't a huge deal. But for the most part, it seems like all that stuff is fixed these days, so you don't really have to worry about that. But yeah. Fallout 3 is an amazing game. It's definitely something that you should play. If you've never played it before, I still think you should give it a shot. You know, I know that it hasn't aged the best. I know the gunplay hasn't aged the best, but it still has some things like VATS to help you out. VATS will basically stop combat and let you aim at a character's limbs, and you can pick which limb to attack. And it just adds a little bit of a strategic bonus into the battles, which I really like, because it just feels like, hey, you can pause time, take a minute to aim at which characters you want to, do more damage by doing that, and it definitely helps you out in some tough battles. And this game does have some tough moments, especially when you run across death claws. Good grief, those things are absolutely just monsters. You want to get knocked out real quick, face a death claw. And your companions, you actually can meet companions in this game to take along with you on your adventure. This game, they can die. I don't know if they can die in New Vegas. I can't remember. I don't think all of them can die in New Vegas off the top of my head. But in this game, they can. So if your companion dies, they're done. They're gone for good throughout the entire game. You will not see them again. So that is something to keep in mind. But yeah. Fallout 3, amazing game. Check it out. It's definitely something that, even in 2023, I'm still having a blast going back and playing through it. I look forward to going through all the DLCs once more and talking about those in their own separate videos. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you still enjoy playing Fallout 3. It's still a good game. And it's still, honestly, probably my favorite game of all time. Gotta be honest. I'll talk to you next video. You have a great day. Bye-bye.